With the Biden reelection campaign now officially underway, former President Trump is taking aim at the person he hopes to challenge once again for the White House. He spoke today in New Hampshire. Former President Trump criticized President Biden during the speech, calling him, quote, crooked Biden.
The choice in this election is now between strength and weakness, between success or failure, between safety or anarchy, between peace or conflict and prosperity or catastrophe.
For more on this, Caitlin Huey-Burns and Ed O'Keefe join me now. Caitlin is a CBS News political correspondent, and Ed is CBS News senior White House and political correspondent. Welcome to both of you. Caitlin, I'll start with you. If there's one thing that the former president is known for, it's going on the attack.
Yes.
Did he do that in this speech? And what are his attacks on the current president shaping up to look like?
And he's also known for giving nicknames. So he said today that he's retiring crooked Hillary and bestowing it upon Joe Biden, who he expects to be his rival in 2024. What was interesting about this is that all of the campaign appearances that we've seen from Donald Trump so far have really been focused on his own grievances. The last campaign appearance that he made was down in Mar-a-Lago, where, it gave it on the day of the indictment, and it was very much kind of a litany of grievances that he had with the indictment. And that's really been the focus of his new campaign thus far, is what people have done to him. Today, he took the attacks to Joe Biden. Of course, Joe Biden announced his reelection campaign this week. He talked a lot about how he basically wants to undo everything that Biden has done. But he also tied some grievances in there, saying that the economy was working before COVID took it away. He also took some jabs at DeSantis and some other rivals as well. But today was very much focused on Joe Biden. And a lot of Republicans, that's what they want to see. They want to see these contrasts made with Biden and not so much thinking about the past. He's still talking, so we'll still see what comes out of it. But that was the significance of today.
His nicknames work when they feed into a framework that voters already have about a politician. Does crooked Joe Biden really work? Our polling doesn't really reflect that people believe that Joe Biden is crooked. They may have other problems with him.
Right, exactly. And when you talk to Republicans, I've been asking them about, are you concerned about Biden's age and his mental acuity and his fitness for office? And they keep saying, no, I'm focused on his policy. And so, you have a lot of Republicans who are wanting to turn the page from Donald Trump but don't know how to do it. And he's leading the field by a significant and a healthy margin. And Republicans haven't really figured out how to take him down and haven't really shown a willingness yet as well. And so I think that's something to watch, too, here is there an appetite to have someone else? We just haven't seen that yet.
Right. Ed, you broke some news today. You reported that President Biden's new campaign manager, Julie Rodriguez, isn't actually his campaign manager just yet. She is still on the White House payroll, and she's going to remain on the White House payroll for about another month or so. Explain the delay here. Why not get her over to the campaign and get her working on this right away?
They wouldn't explain why she's sticking around for a few more weeks, but what it does signal is that this really is a slow build for Biden-Harris 2024, that they don't have the shingle out with all the workers there necessarily hung quite yet. If the big boss of this operation, the one that's supposed to be doing the hiring, the scheduling, the big logistical decisions, isn't starting until mid-May, it shows you that this, in essence, was designed to just start getting money flowing into an account, build up that account, and then start building out the campaign. The way Democrats working on this, the White House, the president's team sees it is 2023 is about raising money and laying the groundwork, literally and physically, literally and figuratively, and physically, because they're going to have to figure out where to put the headquarters. While 2024 is really when they're going to spend this, when they're going to get him out there in a far more active and frequent way. The guidance we got in the hours after this thing launched this week was watch him just continue to do the day job and keep his head down doing presidential things while the Republicans squabble amongst themselves over who should be their presidential nominee. And as congressional Republicans keep fighting amongst themselves to some extent over how exactly to approach these debt limit talks, and Democrats remain united over the idea that it has to be done cleanly. Can I just say, though, on the former president's speech here, two things come to mind. First of all, 4 years ago, when Joe Biden was facing opponents, they were focused to some extent on him while also focused on Donald Trump. Joe Biden kept focused mostly on Donald Trump, sending a message to fellow Democrats that the goal here is to defeat Trump. So let's just focus on that. To some extent, that's what Trump's doing here, reminding Republicans the goal is to get rid of Joe Biden. And here's my concerns with him. The other thing, though, is he is being presumptuous that he's going to ultimately be the guy. Polling certainly suggests right now that he will be. And he did needle in these remarks today Ron DeSantis to some extent and his other opponents and called out other elements of the Republican Party. So it's an interesting tact for him to just already be focused on the general election. But his team, if not him, know that that's what Joe Biden did 4 years ago. And it worked for Joe Biden. It may work for Donald Trump this time. We'll see.
Right, and they don't want to risk building other Republican candidates up by shining a spotlight on them.
Yeah.
Caitlin, I want to switch gears. Ed brought up the debt limit and House Republicans. House Republicans did something pretty surprising yesterday. They managed to pass a bill that would raise the debt ceiling, but only if it was accompanied by major spending cuts, including rolling back some of President Biden's signature legislative achievements. So where do things go from here? Yeah,
and Kevin McCarthy is getting a lot of praise from a lot of Republicans for holding a coalition together, something that wasn't certain several months ago during that speakership race when we were all wondering, if you can't get the votes for speaker, how can you possibly get them for actual legislation that needs to pass? So, yes, it's a victory for him this week that he was able to cajole his conference. But the biggest question is what happens when the Senate doesn't take this up? There's no appetite for it there, of course, given the makeup of the Senate. Republicans are, obviously the White House has said that they don't want to negotiate on the debt limit at all. They just want a clean raise. And so what can you actually get past this House under those parameters still remains a big question. So while this was a victory for them today, there is such an uphill climb to actually get something through. And you saw the haggling that had to happen just for those, that slim margin of votes to get from Republicans, and some that didn't want to raise it at all, even with those concessions.
No one has any idea right now how this is going to turn out. Ed, finally, it is Take Your Children to Work Day today, and you and I had a chance to take our own children to the place where we work, which is the White House. My son, Noah, your daughter, Amelia, were among the kids who clamored to put a question to White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre in a special briefing just for the kids. Let's take a look at what Noah and Amelia had on their minds.
We've been talking a lot about AI at our school, and I'm wondering if President Biden is worried about audio or video of himself being altered in a harmful way.
So, this has come up a couple times in the briefing. I don't know if you pay attention or watch the briefings, Noah. And the president recently held a meeting with his team on AI specifically, and this is something that his team is certainly taking a look at.
What is his favorite dinner food?
Oh, so there's a few that I know of. He likes spaghetti, which is pretty cool. I love spaghetti too, like spaghetti with red sauce. And so that's one of his favorite meals.
Ed, I have to say, Amelia managed to squeeze 3 questions in there, which I would expect nothing less from an O'Keefe.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And, it's a reminder, I think, to us and to our families that it's a privilege to get to do this job and to do it every day alongside our colleagues, and a privilege to be able to work in this place. And I know I, as a dad, was proud to be able to show it off to at least one of our kids today. And Ouija had her kids over here, too. So that was fun.
Yes, she did.
And it's nice to see all of our colleagues who are hard-nosed and aggressive fact-seekers melt a little bit in front of their kids, or at least have to play mom and dad. So it was a lot of fun. And it was great to finally meet Noah.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same way about Amelia, and, they were very appreciative to have that opportunity. So thanks for letting us share that. And thanks for being on Red and Blue. Caitlin Huey-Burns, Ed O'Keefe. Thank you both.